Hey there, it's another beautiful day. You want to hear a story? So today is my 160th episode, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this ride. It has been a lot of fun, and I couldn't have done it without you. The other day, I got a request from Mandy Spacek, and the request contained a very specific word. The specific word that YouTube goes, no. Why? I don't know. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. But it's the unalive word. And because of that, typically what I do is I will take out the audio, I'll put in my little emoji over the word if it's written on the screen somewhere. But today, I think I'm just gonna let it ride. Because it's like used 15 times in every video, and I'm gonna have to be able to say it. And I'm not gonna say that other stupid word because it's dumb. And if YouTube decides they want to demonetize me, I don't care. I'm not even monetized right now anyway. So if it does come along that I get monetized, which is fantastic, and they say this one is no, I don't care. I'm over it. So let's watch some stuff.
Are you afraid of death?
No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you, I was afraid of death until I met death. I met death when I was 22 years old.
And what happened when you were 22?
See that mark on my face right there? It was meant for my throat, and it missed me, and I should be dead. I lost my life. I just was gone for a certain amount of time. And nobody ever believes it, so I don't even tell it anymore. But I just could see all of this like a heavenly host, and I could hear this music just playing, and it was just awesome, and it was really, really, really pretty. And I know what's going to happen in the hereafter. So I'm not afraid of it. I believe in God. I trust Him.
So we're covering near-death experiences. Feels pretty good to say that word without being all freaked out about it. That is an absolutely traumatic experience to have to go through, I'm sure. But to reach that peace of mind, it must be, a fantastic feeling because there's no fear of death now. It's just, oh, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be fantastic. And having that confidence, really changes your life, I'm sure. The similarities in the stories of these individuals who die and then come back are very, very interesting. I know there's basically a handful of stories, right? And they all fall along the same lines. We're going to see some of those today and hopefully get a little glimpse into why. Some of the videos are a little long. They run in the 2.5 minute area, but I think they're really good stories and I hope you enjoy them. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, let me know down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get it in an upcoming video. If you enjoy this kind of content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. And then come back tomorrow, because I'm doing this every single day.
Where were you when you woke up?
I was in the morgue with all the dead bodies.
On your trip to hell, you said you looked down and you saw hell.
Mm-hmm.
Describe what you saw.
Ooh. Well, first of all, there was space everywhere, and it was all burning. And the flame looked maybe as high as this door. And then above that, the stench and the smoke was there. And these souls were up there above the flames. And they were begging for water and wanting to get out. They were very fascinating to me because of the dread I saw on their face. It was terrible. And the smell was what you wouldn't want. Oh my, the smell is terrible of hell. It's burning flesh, and yet it isn't burning. I don't know how to explain that any different. It's flesh burning.
Were people screaming?
Oh, yes, and their tongues were hanging out, and they wanted to get out of there. They just said, bring me some water, something to quench this flame, being tormented.
They were being tormented.
Mm-hmm. Terribly tormented. Their tongues were hanging out, and some of their eyes looked like they were bulging out of their head, and they were just reaching up. They wanted some help. They wanted out of there, but there isn't any way out of hell. Once you get there, you're doomed.
What? Did you hear anything? Did anybody say anything in hell in particular that you can remember?
Just screams.
Their whole body, or were they?
Well, they were forms. I
Okay.
could see the heads,
Okay.
faces, and people like with the expression in the eyes. Oh my terror!
Personally, I'm not afraid of death. At least at this time in my life, I'm not afraid of it. I don't know what's going to happen when I pass away, and hearing this is terrifying. Even if you don't believe in heaven and hell, it is an interesting, experience. Like, she passed away, woke up in the morgue, like she died, straight died. They're like, yeah, you're dead. You're gonna go in the freezer. And then she's like, hello, freaking crazy. But to see these particular images, these are images that are portrayed in a lot of religions as what hell will look like. And in movies too, movies and television, this is what hell is: fire and brimstone and these horrified looking people, just being tortured. That's a pretty common depiction of hell. And for her to experience that, that's awful.
This is by far my favorite story. I've said that like 8 times. This is Nancy Rhines. She was hit by a car while riding a bike and had a near-death experience that completely flipped her worldview. Her consciousness split. One part of her stayed in her body and the other part was watching peacefully from about 50 feet away and explaining that this was okay, it was meant to happen. In the hospital while under anesthesia, she was surprised to find herself waking up in a meadow. She thought she must be dead. That she wondered why she wasn't in hell because her Catholic upbringing said atheists went to hell. A voice from all around her answered, "This is your home. You're a part of this and you belong here." Then a woman approached her and told her that she was going to teach her some things that were going to help her on earth. She did not want to go back, but the woman told her she'd already agreed to. In front of her, the woman showed a scene of her before coming to earth agreeing to all these experiences. The woman showed Nancy that she knew she was likely going to lose touch with any sort of spirituality and that she was going to have about 3 shots to reconnect to it, and the third was the accident. Then she was taken to a place where souls who have left earth come to decompress and reflect on their lives, and they did it in an environment that was comfortable for them. So for her it was like nature with mountains and rivers. But eventually she was forcefully shoved back into her body. She was screaming, "Where are my friends?" when she got back. The nurses thought she meant her friends in the waiting room.
It was a little difficult to decipher exactly what was going on there. So I feel like not believing in religion is why she came to this particular place with a woman. I know there was the voice, but it didn't say it was a man's voice, a woman's voice, just a voice, right? It's not, meeting God, meeting Jesus, or meeting Saint whoever at the pearly gates, or even the devil, right? It's not meeting any of those. It's a woman that's saying, you agreed to this entire life. Like, she came from this place and they're like, okay, you're going to go do a life. And she's like, all right, sounds good. There you go. But then she lost her religion along the way, became atheist, and then they gave her some chances to reconcile with this religion, which I'm pretty sure was Catholicism, because she said she had a Catholic upbringing. So I know they have a lot of saints. I'm not sure who they are. I'm sorry, I'm not well versed in religion. But yeah, it was a very interesting story.
And then next thing I know, I feel myself like overdosing. Like the last thing I remember, just falling out and crawling towards my tent. I was gone. And next thing I knew, I'm in a hallway. And in the hallway, there was demons on my left side and demons on my right side. They all had these like weird little robes. And I'm following one. And as I'm following it, we're walking up to this big door. And then it says to me, the one in front of me had its hood up and it said, "One more step, you're almost there." And when it says that, it turns around and has this big smile. And it all clicked, like what was going on. I said, "Oh hell no!" And I turned around. And when I turned around, I woke up and back up on my tent, and I was just like soaking wet in sweat.
I don't have a whole lot of experience with drugs. I've got my fair share, I think, but not a whole lot of experience. And I have no clue what K2 is. But I know that people can have bad trips on certain drugs. Well, on any drug, you can have a bad trip. And I think maybe that's what happened. Like, he just had a really bad trip.
I'm starting to think that near-death experiences explain interdimensional travel. Listen to what Alex Jones has to say. Disclaimer, this can make you wonder about DMT experiences and even the symbology of baptism within the church.
So again, experimenting with the drugs. This one is ayahuasca, but it's on a government level. So there are people that are in this test that are no longer fazed by this ayahuasca, and they're able to stop their heart, inject oxygen into them, and talk to aliens. You know I love aliens. That's a fantastic story. So it's like basically aliens have put us here. But there's a lot of theories surrounding this world being, an alien prison, or even like they're harvesting our souls and they need us here to grow them. So we're like their livestock, really, which is crazy, right? Great story.
They giggle. I would say, "Am I out of my body? Where am I?" And they just laugh. They go, and I thought, are they laughing at me? But they never saw their faces. It was like a hood over them. But I could always see their robes and the golden rope that was wrapped around them. And I knew it was gold. You could feel it. I don't know how to explain it, but you could feel everything. You could feel the textures of the clothing in a different way. So when it all happened, after that, I went into the hospital. I was out. But when they pulled the Gertie out of the ambulance and it hit the road, it jerked me back into my body, and I was back in. Now I'm in pain. I'm a total afraid because you're back into your body real strongly. And I remember as I was going down, I could see all the lights going through the hallway. They're taking me into the ER, and I thought, this is just like the hospitals that they show on TV when they're on the gutter and they're running them down. Oh, this is exactly like that. So it was just a different kind. You didn't have an understanding, but yet you had an understanding. And then my friends came in and I didn't talk to them. I just would do, with my eyes. And then I remember going in, this is what the nurses got, because I'm on the floor, I'm on the table. Now, my doctor that came in, he bent down to me and he had a pencil in his pocket, and he bent down and the pen dropped. There's no way I could have seen that pen. There's no way. I was laying down. So I saw the pen, but I saw his Kohan shoes. And I used to wear Kohan shoes, and they're $300 a pair. And the first thing I asked when I woke up from there, I said, do I have to pay for those shoes? Because he didn't put his little booties on. And the nurse went, how do you know that? I said, I saw it. And he lost his pen, and you all didn't even pick it up. And she went, oh my gosh. You know what I told them after I learned all this? I said, you all need to go in the ER and put some pictures or something up at the top that says, you're not in your body. Go back in your body. I said, and people will feel that. And they said, you are serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. I said, you need to tell them, because you've got to get them back in the body if you're going to try to heal them, because they're not going to hear words. So when nurses and doctors heard that, I had several really good friends who were nurses, and they came in and they wanted to talk to me. How do I know when they're out of body? It's not hard to tell, because if you really understand it, because I've been watching it for so long, you see them float back up. And then if you put them back down, that's why they start crying. And so it hurts to go back in your body. And that all of that experience woke me up for 5 years. After that, Jesus came to me after 18 months. Now, when you say Jesus I was raised as a Baptist, and I went back into being a Catholic because my father died when I was 16, watching him die from the age of 11. So I have a lot of experience about death as a child.
So I pulled this video because it says on the top that she discovers that life is a simulation. But she didn't say that at all. I'm assuming it's in one of the other parts, because this is part 3, so my bad for pulling the wrong damn part. But it was very interesting, the out-of-body experience that she did have and how it made her go back into religion because she saw Jesus. Which makes me think that she didn't actually reveal that it's a simulation, but then again, I don't know. I'll find out.
Here's why some people experience heaven and hell during a near-death experience. I've been a firefighter EMT for about 7 years now. I'm around a lot of death, and I had the opportunity to talk to people who had near-death experiences. The one that sticks out to me the most is this woman that we were able to bring back. I had the pleasure to ask her questions about her experience. And believe it or not, she was actually pissed that she came back. She felt all the pain and suffering from her body that she was trying to escape from. She enjoyed the feeling that she felt when she was finally free and connected to the universe. She said it's a feeling of pure bliss that is hard to truly describe in words. It's just something you have to experience. It was both peaceful and joyful. She realized that death was not something to be afraid of, but to embrace. It is not the end, but only the beginning. Now, everyone's near-death experience is going to be different. We all go somewhere we believe we deserve to go. Whether that be a form of heaven or hell, it's what you make it consciously. Some people experience living in a happy dreamlike state with past relatives, while others experience nightmares and relive past traumas. And this is all credited to the massive amount of DMT that is dumped during death. Your consciousness is stuck in a dreamlike state where you constantly replay all the memories you accumulated through this life. Some people will come back because they still have a purpose to fulfill in this particular lifetime, while others move on to another life or become closer to the source. At the end of the day, we are infinite beings living a temporary human experience.
I've been wanting to say this throughout the entire episode, but I wanted to wait until the end because I knew I had this particular clip and this guy explains it fantastically. So your brain is dumping all of these chemicals. It's basically to kind of help you pass, right? Because most people, when they do pass, they're in a lot of pain prior to actually passing. So this is like a defense mechanism for the brain. But while that's happening, you're reliving everything that you know and where you think you deserve to go. And the imagery that you've been given throughout your life of that place is what you experience as you pass away. And that's a fantastic belief. I myself do believe that. I don't believe that there is a heaven or a hell. So I don't know what I'm going to experience. Probably my life, my children, my husband, my family, you know? And then bye-bye. So that's what I think. And I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for joining me for my 160th episode. I totally appreciate every single second of your time. Come on back tomorrow because I'm going to have some new stuff for you. I'm also going to say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.